Congressman Andrew Clyde, who was in the courtroom yesterday, and Gene Hamilton, America First Legal Executive Director and General Counsel. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Gene, I want to begin with you. If I was going to try and drive the point home to the folks, what this is all about the level of corruption we're seeing in New York, celebrated by the left-wing media, by the way, here's how I would describe it. Leftists that have corrupted our system let off a murderer so they could prosecute a jaywalker, knowing the jaywalker did nothing wrong. Now, where am I going wrong with my analysis?
Chris, you're not going wrong. You're spot on. Everything in your prologue, your opening, was precisely correct. This is an orchestrated hit job by the left against President Trump. Look, you can see the signs everywhere, whether it's in terms of the way that they're treating the individual manner of handling of this trial, to the fact that the judge's daughter is a Democratic ally who raises money, who gets donations from all kinds of different folks, who Dan Goldman even contracts with, the star witness, the star investigator of the J6 committee. From every single angle, you can see the American people at home what this is all about. This is all about attacking and taking down Donald Trump for political reasons. It's not about any actual crime.
Correct, and it's not American. And if these Democrats want to go anti-American, fine, they can do so without the rest of the country. Congressman, there was a lot of fireworks between the judge and Trump's star witness, Robert Costello, yesterday, who served as Michael Cohen's former legal advisor for a brief time. You were in the courtroom. How would you characterize Judge Merchan's actions yesterday?
Well, Chris, thanks for having me on. I will tell you that it was an eye-opening experience being in that courtroom yesterday. I could definitely tell the judge was one-sided. He was conflicted, and his actions showed that he was tremendously corrupt. Not just, what he did in the courtroom, but not, like was mentioned, his daughter being a Democrat operative, raising millions of dollars for the Democrat Party, and this judge benefiting from it, his family benefiting from it. No, this particular judge, honestly, is so one-sided. This is not a fair trial whatsoever. This is indeed a banana republic type of trial. And the only crime in that courtroom was when I heard Michael Cohen say that he stole $30,000 from the Trump organization. That was the crime that was exposed yesterday in the courtroom. There was no other.
Gene, I want to get you some reaction to some breaking news earlier today. A new filing in the Trump classified documents case showed the Department of Injustice effectively put a shoot-to-kill order on the corrupt raid of Mar-a-Lago. Thankfully, President Trump wasn't there. Here's the quote. Law enforcement officers of the Department of Justice may use deadly force when necessary, end quote. Counselor, is this normal?
No, it's not. Look, we need to take a step back again for the American people at home. Remember that the Biden White House orchestrated this entire thing by getting a special access request through the White House for the FBI to get access to some of Donald Trump's records. Now, what they've turned this into is a dispute over what a librarian, the national librarian, thinks that NARA should have versus what President Trump should have. President Trump has the absolute authority under the Presidential Records Act to determine which records are his and which ones are not. But this administration, this Biden administration, this Department of Justice, was willing to send armed FBI agents into his house with authority to shoot, to kill, over paperwork, over library records that Donald Trump had the absolute right to possess. And if that doesn't show you that there's something wrong in this country, I don't know what will.
And let's not forget, this very same Department of Injustice just allowed Joe Biden to get away with stealing classified information he was never entitled to as a senator and as vice president. Congressman, a Salcedo show axiom states that leftists can't harm us if they don't have our money. The Democrats are awash in Republican and conservative voters' cash, so they can target us and our chosen candidates. Now, you say you want to defund all the leftist lawfare against President Trump. Question, what leverage do you have left to get that done?
Well, the only leverage we really have is the FY25 appropriation, and that's why I'm working very hard to get this particular amendment to defund the prosecution of a presidential candidate prior to the November election. I'm working to get that amendment into the Commerce, Justice, Science appropriation. If we can do that, all right, get that appropriation passed and signed into law, then indeed we can defund the prosecution prior to the election, because FY25 starts, a couple months almost before the election. But we have to be able to do this to show the country that we support the president, that this country's voters should be the ones to determine who wins the election, and not the lawfare from the Biden administration. Honestly, the documents that were just released show, in my mind, that this is a setup. They are looking for an armed conflict, and they want to use this particular raid as cover for it to legitimize it. I mean, you've got the Secret Service bound to protect the president and the DOJ with authorizing lethal force. That's insane. I mean, that shows you that Garland is just, he's over the top, and this guy needs to resign and the contempt resolution was spot on. He needs to be gone.
Well, gentlemen and Congressman, I think Americans can see what the Democrats want to do to this country and what they're willing to do to this country. I only wish the majority of your colleagues, like Speaker Johnson, knew and understood who exactly they are facing. These Democrats no longer wish to be Americans, and I don't know why we have to politely accept that. Congressman Andrew Clyde and Gene